who can't make it can see it. Verena, how are you? I just want to let you know that I'm recording, just in case that affects your desire to have the video on. I love seeing you, but I just want to let you know. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome to the first day of International Nature Journaling Week. I can't believe that it has come around so fast. I don't know about you, but it feels really fast since last year. But this is a thrill. So what we're going to do today is just celebrate our appreciation for local nearby nature. And I'll explain a little bit about the themes that we have for this year. So our theme is back to basics. And we chose this theme because everyone's feeling tired. Everyone's feeling worn down by all the things that are happening around the world at the moment. And we just want to keep it simple. We just want to remember how simple this can be and how joyful this can be, and leave behind everything else. So back to basics is our overarching theme this year. And each day will have its own theme. So today, the first day is appreciation. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about sharing. And then we're going to have creativity, inspiration, confidence, care, and celebration. And all these themes were chosen because they are something that we value in this community, something that we want to foster and help grow. So today it's all about celebration. It's all about appreciation. And we're going to tap into that because we want to remind ourselves that nature is here. It's not over there. It's not far away in a Brazilian rainforest. It's here. It's in the suburbs of a city. It's wherever we are. It's in the corner of our, living room. It's here. And so when we remember that, when we remind ourselves that, we can tap into this feeling, this nature journal feeling, wherever we are. So I want to say that I am here in Queensland, Australia, and I live on the unceded territory of the Jinnabara people. And I invite you to put your place in the chat so we can see where everybody's coming from, because we are from all different places all around the world. There's some Australians here, there's some people in Germany, there's people in England, there's people all over the place, people in Spain. So Netherlands, hi Marion, Suffolk, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Canada, Japan, hi.
Wow, this is fantastic.
This is wonderful. USA, you're up very late. Oh my goodness.
Wow, well
Cindy, hi. Buckinghamshire, Massachusetts. There's some Americans here. You must be tired. Essex, Gold Coast, hi Annette. This is fabulous. Hi Alex, how are you?
Yeah, it is early. Well done, Cindy.
Netherlands, Monique, hi. This is absolutely exciting and fantastic. I'm so thrilled to see you all. And Dane, hi. Mianjin, yes. So this makes me so happy. I'm really glad that we can be here at this time and with all these places represented. So what I want to do is I want to share a little something about what I've been appreciating lately. And I thought, I don't know if you've brought your nature journals, but I've got mine here in front of me. And I thought it could be fun to do some really fun, silly, quick sketches together. And then I want to open it up, and there's some people here who are going to share their appreciations with you. And then we can all just raise our hand and share what we have been appreciating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what I've been appreciating. We'll do a few sketches together and then I'll pass it over. Okay? All right. I'm going to someone from Newcastle, Henrietta. Okay. I'm so excited about all these places being represented. And to those who have stayed up very, very late, welcome and thank you for being here. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Thumbs up, can you see it? Jules? All right, cool. So this is what I've been appreciating lately. This is my backyard. In fact, this is a little citrus orchard in my backyard. And I can't tell you how much joy this little citrus orchard brings me. At the moment, all the citrus is fruiting. And on these trees, we have sulfur-crested cockatoos, which are enormous parrots. And they love to pick away at the mandarins on this tree. And they look like Christmas baubles. They remind me of Christmas baubles. Anyway, this is a mandarin tree, and I'm going to show you. This is an orange tree. We have been getting oranges off this tree, and it's amazing. They're slightly sour, but it is so fun to get oranges from your own orange tree. We can't take credit for planting this tree, this little orchard, but there it is, and it's bringing me so much joy, and I appreciate this bounty of oranges. So if you have your journal, come along with me and do some quick sketches. I'm going to do very small, very quick sketches, because I don't want to take up or dominate here or take up too much time, but I thought it would be fun to journal together. So I'm going to journal this this orange tree. I'm going to do it in this crazy squiggly style, because I don't like perfectionism. I prefer the silly wiggly style. So I'm doing the trunk of this orange tree, and I love the way it's all twisty and turny. And the branches spreading out. This is the perfect climbing tree when you're a little kid. I spent a lot of my years as a kid in the branches of trees. And so when I see trees, I assess them for their suitability for climbing. So here's the foliage. I'm darkening this little bit here because I can see a shadow there under that little bit, and then it comes into the grass. And then there's these oranges dangling down in the foliage, and I know I'm covering up my own sketch. Sorry about that. And some more branches coming off here. And I love that this is in my backyard, that this bounty is there. Oh, I want to tell you a story. We have recently, I'm going to add a little bit of color to this sketch. We recently had something spring up in my neighborhood, which is called the Sanford Edible Exchange. And so at the exchange, people take, they take whatever they've grown in their gardens and they drop it at this one central location, and then they can take something that someone else has dropped there. So I took an armful of oranges, and I got some herbs, and I got a whole bunch of other things. And it's so wonderful to exchange with others, people you don't know who it is who's dropped it, but it's such a wonderful thing to exchange food with the community. It's so beautiful. So I'm adding some color to my orange tree. I'm going to add some oranges. a little bit of foliage up here. So if you're sketching along with me, I'm going to swap this photo in a minute. So quickly finish off whatever you're doing. And I just want to sketch. So there is a mandarin. These mandarins are really, really sour, but they're they look beautiful and they feed the parrots. I want to sketch this hen. You sketch this hen with me. She is so sweet, and the hens come around when I'm composting, when I'm turning the compost. The hens come around and they love to peck around. So I'm going to sketch this hen over here. Again, super quickly. I'm not in it for perfectionism. I love that the more we do this, the more we can let go of perfectionism, because perfectionism used to paralyze me. I used to really worry about that stuff before I started nature journaling. And now I just don't even care. And maybe it's because I've been doing it for a bit. And each day, each messy drawing I do, I let go a little bit more. Or I'm not sure, but something about nature journaling just allows me to forget about that stuff. So 15-second sketch of a hen. I'm going to put some color on her and then we can leave it at that. We've got a whole lot of hens in the backyard, and they all have their character, they all have their colors and personalities. I don't know if you've spent some time with hens, but they all have their own personalities, and it makes me laugh that you can tell. We actually had 3 big fat black Australorps, which is an Australian breed of hen, and they looked identical, but we could always tell who they were because of their personalities. There was the shy one, there was the escapee one, and we always knew who was who because of their personalities. I'm just going to put a few more darker parts on this hen. This one, in fact, is called Hetty, and Hetty was raised by my sister because her mother rejected her, and she ended up in a box on my sister's kitchen counter. And Hetty was raised by hand by my sister, and then when she got old enough, she was released into the flock, and she's doing well. And my sister went through a bit of parental separation problems when Hetty went to the flock. It was quite cute. So there is my very messy, very quick sketch of Hetty and the orange tree. And that's what I'm appreciating at the moment. And I would love to pass it over. There's a few, I've secretly behind the scenes lined up a few people to do some sharing. Kim, would you like to go next? Would you like to show us what you've been appreciating?
Yeah, so it's now been a few weeks where I've been following the progress of a little moth that I found just outside my front door. And what first caught my eye was, well, it's coloring. So it's like brown and white. I'll see if I can share my screen because I've got a photo of it in a moment. But also the fact that it was on the door frame and it was staying there, it wasn't moving, and it was there the next day and a week later. And eventually I decided to take some photos and also nature journal it. And I was really surprised because when I looked closely at this little moth, I suddenly saw this cluster of eggs just underneath it. And then when I looked at where it had been lower on the door frame, there was other clusters of eggs. So I nature journaled that. So let's see if I can show my page. So there's the moth that I drew from a photo, and underneath it here are the little eggs that I saw. And I actually was able to, a week later, look, and the eggs had hatched. So I was just so amazed and just appreciate that this moth is right outside my door and I can see new life beginning. I had no idea that there were eggs there, that's why the moth was there. But sadly, I think the moth gave up its life because it was dead on the ground. So the photo I've got, unfortunately, is of it not so happy. Let's see if I can screen share. So there's the moth, and it's just this beautiful brown and white moth. It had like red bits under its eyes, and I think it's called a tiger moth. So this is probably no bigger than half my thumb. And let's see if I can share the other photo now of the eggs. Is that working? Can you see the eggs? No,
It's the same
okay.
photo of the moth for now.
Okay. Let's just stop sharing and share the other screen. Okay, so you can see that some of them hatched. So that was a really lovely, I guess, beginning to my recent experience. So yes, even though the mother, I guess, in this case, died, that's part of life too. But all these hundreds of eggs and hatchlings were out, and I had so many questions. I did some research afterwards to try and find out about the moth, and yeah, so even just one step out the front door and you can find something amazing.
That is super cool. And did you watch the little grubs from that point? What happened after that? What's the rest of the story?
Okay, so they've all gone now. I think they flew away because the different patches on the wall, on the door frame, I think they were laid at different times because they hatched at different times. You could see some were smaller, some were bigger, and there were some that had wings. So they were tiny. They looked like little midges, but otherwise they were gone. It's not like they were crawling around on the floor. So I think they after a day or so maybe flew off because they weren't there for very long. It was like 2 days and then they were gone. So yeah.
That is a super cool story. Thank you so much for sharing, Kim.
Welcome.
Rafa, do you feel like sharing?
Yes, sure. Hello, everybody. Well, I would like to share as well my screen. Let's see if it works. I'm sorry, but my connection is not very good, but I think I will get it. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we see it.
Okay. Well, I'm Rafa from Tarifa, from South Spain, and where I live is a very special place, as you can see here on the map. I'm living just in this, on the very end of the continental Europe. So we are very, very close to Africa. And this is my view from the window, more or less. And this mountain on the back is Africa. It's just only 14 kilometers from here, so I can almost touch it from the window. And it's, as I say, this for me is very, very special place. We have a very nice nature event that is the migration. I really love birds, and what I really like is this event that is incredible. It's all the birds, a big amount of birds coming that they were breeding in Europe, and then they are coming to Africa to spend the winter there, and then when in the spring they come back like every year. And as we are very close, this phenomena is like we are like in a bottleneck where all the birds are concentrated, and in the right season you see thousands of birds overhead, like clouds of birds crossing to Africa or coming from Africa to Europe. No? And I wanted to sketch with you. I will try to put my camera on. It's like a nice bird with a nice story that I found in a place close to here. And it is a flamingo, a greater flamingo. They are also a migrant bird, a very cool bird. And what I found, let me put all together. It was this fantastic bird. That is okay, no, more or less.
That looks great.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, I will try to do as well like a short sketch of the bird. Flamingo is a very strange looking bird. When you see this, the bill is like a kind of curve, because they feed on the small zooplankton from the water. They eat small shrimps that they are floating on the water. Actually, the pink is coming from this shrimp. It's called Artemia salina. And I'm going to sketch the flamingo. And Artemia salina have they also eat some algae that the algae has carotenes like carrots or tomatoes. No, these carotenes are red or pink, and then when the shrimp eat the algae get red, and when the flamingo eats the shrimp, it's getting also red or even more pink. This is why the color is coming from the flamingo. They have a very long legs, more or less, and this is the body. And what I see, I don't know if you see well on the picture, is that I found like this ring on the leg of this flamingo that is on the back. We can also do a quick sketch of the ring. Normally, this is a plastic ring, and they have a code. In this case, the code is 3, and then we have a bar and P. And with the rings, what we can know is all the movements and the life story of the birds. I will put some colors quickly. And this bird, it was coming from, when I checked on the internet, I found the people who ring the bird, and they were people from France. The flamingo came from the Camargue, that is like a 1,500 kilometers from here. So the bird was born in France, and then it came to us. I will put it on pink, quick pink. It is amazing because those birds, they are moving all the time, and they go to Africa. They cross the strait, and then they continue south to reach Africa. So it's quite amazing life of the birds, that with all the rings you can know where they are coming or where do they go. And yeah, it was a quick sketch of the ring, but I think I found it very interesting to know what is happening with the flamingos in Tarifa and in the strait. And that's it, more or less.
That was amazing, Rafa. It just blows my mind that you can see Africa from your place for a start, but also that your nearby nature is this. And flamingos for me are like so far out of my reality that the very first time I saw flamingos and was like, my mind was blown, was actually in the Camargue in France. So it's
nice.
quite thrilling to me to see that you can read the tag of this bird and know exactly where it came from and the history. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was so cool.
Yeah, just to say that the French, they are bringing the flamingos since the 70s. So we have a very long story from many birds. Actually, this bird, the 3MP, it was born in 1991. So it's a very old bird. So yeah, crazy.
It's amazing that you can find that much information just by this little tag. That was super cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. I can't stop smiling. Oh, wow. Alex, I'm gonna pick on you. Alex, are you still here?
Yes.
Hey.
Yes, I'm here.
Would you like to share something?
Yeah, I'm on my iPad. I'm going to see. I don't know how you share screen on an iPad. I'm going to try. Is it doing anything? Can't seem to. I can try holding it up.
Yeah, you could hold it upside down.
I think it's because I'm on an iPad. I don't really know how to make it do it. I've got. Let's see if I hold that up. Can you see them?
Yep. Oh, how cute.
This is what I've been appreciating over the last, I guess, month or so. I live opposite a nature reserve, and there's a load of different robins there, and they will, so this is one of my nature journal pages, they will quite happily come and sit on your hand and take food. I think because people have just been feeding them for so long, they just got so used to people and so tame that all you have to do is put some food on your hand and hold your hand out, stay still, and they will come. And the one that's in that picture, so this is one of my other nature journals that I took out yesterday. So this robin, the one that was in the other photo as well, he's got like some sort of problem around his neck where the feathers haven't grown back, and obviously something happened to him. I guess there was scar tissue or something, and so he's got like this sort of ring of grey around his neck, and he looks quite sort of funny from the side. But aside from that, he's very healthy, and he's just raised that brood of young robins that I just showed you just there. So I guess for me, it's been getting out as much as possible to go and feed the robins, and learning how to sit with the birds and to draw the birds that are all around really quickly. And I think some of Jack Law's classes really helped me with that. So if you can find them, I think they're on his website, probably still from during the lockdown, where he talks about drawing quickly the head and the back of the bird and then trying to fill in from there, which I do when, like in here, when all of the birds are moving around so fast and you just have to try and get down what you can as quickly as possible. But I think that really helps with your drawing. It really helps to speed you up and to get really quick at just noticing what you can as quickly as possible. So yeah, because I can't share the screen, I guess I can't really get you to draw them, but I guess I'd encourage you to try, even if you're like sitting in your garden with a bird feeder, to try and draw the birds from life, because it really does help and it really does speed you up.
Yeah, I love how you have, like you say, just drawn the sort of line of the back and the head, and even that gives so much information on those teeny tiny quick sketches. and you can get that down in just a few seconds, I guess.
Yeah, try and do it in 10 seconds. So this is another page. All 10-second birds. It really does help your observational skills.
I also love that you are getting to know an individual. And I think that that's something that's not that common when we're interrelating with nature, but it's very, very special that you know these particular birds.
Yeah, I feel really lucky actually, because it's not just him, he's like the most distinctive one. But if you keep going there every day, there's about six robins that are quite distinctive, and you can get to know all their little characteristics. And yeah, just then you go looking for them. So like I start to worry about if they don't show up on a day or something. So yeah, it's really nice.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was really, really cool.
Welcome.
Maybe Angela? Can I ask Angela to share something with us? I can't see Angela now. Oh, there she is. Oh, if you could unmute Angela. Hey.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm not great with technology, so yeah. Well, here at home, I've been appreciating the long grass outside my front door. So me and my daughter, we've been doing it for a few years. We don't mow the grass outside. We just let it grow. We have hedgehogs and other things that come and nuzzle in the grass and eat all the creatures. So every year we go outside and we try and see if we can remember the grasses from the year before, because it's a whole minefield, the grasses. So these are some drawings we've been doing of the grasses that have popped up this year. And we realised the only one we could remember was the one that was called Yorkshire Fog. And I live in Yorkshire, so this was the only one that we could actually remember the name of. All the rest we've had to relearn again this year. But I think appreciating these little tiny things that are so important to other creatures, you know, next year we'll do the same again. We'll try and see if we can remember 2 this year or 3 this year, and then next year we'll have a go at remembering more. So I noticed this morning when I've been out on the grass that there are lots of bugs that have come up. I can't share my screen either, so I'll just try and show you here. This morning there were lots of black flies, so on some of the stems of the grass. So I'm hoping that we get ladybirds who'll come and eat these, come onto the grass, and we can sketch those. But there are always, when we leave the grass long, there are always loads of really interesting animals and bugs that pop up. We've had some quite interesting ones over the years. We had it's a shame I've not got a picture, but we had a green thick-legged beetle. So it's this beautiful like green jewel beetle with big sort of knobbly knees. And I've seen these on nature reserves before, but never expected that I would find them in my own backyard. So yeah, that just appreciate, you know, when you look closely and appreciate the things that are just simple things like a grass, it does open up a whole world of connections. And like I say, the bugs and creatures that grow on these grasses will help feed at the hedgehogs that we have in our garden as well. So yeah, this is an ongoing learning process. We also learned that person who studies grasses is called an agroastrologist or something like quite interesting this morning. So yeah.
That is amazing. And I love that grass is something that's so easy to just walk by.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at grass, there's actually so many different varieties. You know, I remember when I was deliberately looking at grass, I suddenly realized there's like 10 varieties right here in this clump, whereas you just sort of look and say grass at one stage, but then this mindset helps us realize how many different varieties they are. Have you noticed the same thing?
Definitely. I mean, this was just from this morning. Just I went out and grabbed some, and then I said to my daughter, you go out and see how many you can find. And I think we found maybe 5 or 6. And the thing is, they change as well from when they're first like this, and then next they start sort of dropping their seeds. So there's they're so interesting. And like you say, they've obviously got different properties as well.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Angela.
Okay.
I wonder if Verena is still here. Hey, would you like to share something? I think I'm springing this on you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, darling.
Hi. Yeah,
Would
this
you
is
like to share something?
this is kind of out of the blue, but yes, I have a nice story to tell you. Yes, hi, nice to see you. It was very spontaneous. I didn't calculate the time right. Yeah, I'm living in Berlin. It's a very big city in Germany. And recently I'm getting acquainted to mother duck. I don't know how they're called in English. They're called like mandarin ducks. They're very pretty. And I just sit by the lake, and it's very like an urban rural cityscape. And I was just like watching the ducks, and the very tiny ducks are coming near to me. And I was like, okay, cool, I can journal you. You're very close. And they're getting closer, and they're getting closer. And 2 weeks later, I am now like the babysitter. I was, can you see them? It's the mother duck just sitting right beside me with her like 14 children. I don't know if it's kindergarten style or anything, how they manage, I don't know. And they're just sitting beside me, like cleaning themselves and stuff. And just yesterday, I was there and wanted to journal. And I couldn't, because like 14 little ducklings were just sitting on my lap. And the mother duck just took off. And I was like, okay, yeah, well, that's the thing I love about nature journaling. I get so like calm and just another being in nature that's just doing a thing in a big city where everything is just doing their own thing in a way that I'm kind of a duck now, and being in a big city, and otherwise I wouldn't have like be calm enough if I wouldn't have had a journal with me, and I wouldn't have even noticed them, I guess. And so I appreciate city nature so much, because in the maybe a wild space outside the city, there wouldn't have been the chance to get so close to a duck. And like, how small are they? They just stand on my hand like a tiny, with those tiny feet, and I could just lift them. I'm like, okay, dude, how should I journal you now? Yeah, well, I just appreciate nature so much more since the time I carry a nature journal around with me every day and get close to, yeah, the common birds in the city I never had thought I would.
That is an amazing story that she's just letting you babysit now, and she's going off to forage.
Best babysitting experience ever.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I just love this, like the beauty of what's around you in your home. You've just taken nature and put it inside your home. So beautiful. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing. So now at this point, I want to just spotlight Jules Woolford, because Jules.
I was just going to say something else, actually.
Go, you say what you want to say. No, first I want to say that Jules is the most amazing person. She has, look at her, you're blushing. She so way back 2020, when I had this idea about Nature Journaling Week, I wrote to Jules. We didn't know each other very well, but we had this mutual appreciation society going together. And I said to Jules, I've got this idea, like, what do you think? And she said, amazing, let's do it. And it was because of Jules that you know, she's just been pulling this whole thing together, and I love you, and I want you to be spotlighted.
Thank you, Bethan. It's very embarrassing right now. I'm really happy to have played like Bethan's second in command, or chief elf as I was the first year, just trying to hope and keep her going. And this amazing idea that she had, which I just thought was wonderful. And you know, I can't believe that we're in 2022 now, and my goodness, we just keep talking back to 3 years ago when there was Bethan and myself and Bethan's dad, like the day before, still trying to get a website together and get everything up together. And it's just incredible now. It's so wonderful to see everybody here, and I've got a fantastic spread of you know, of people from different countries, which is just wonderful, because that's what, you know, Bethan's vision was. So I'm just really glad to be here, and I'm loving listening to what everybody is sharing, what they're appreciating. So thank you so much. And I just wanted to say, Bethan, there are a couple of people as well. Could we possibly ask, because I know they've been able to make it this morning. And the first person is Marion in the Netherlands. I wonder if she would like to share with us.
Wonderful.
Hi. Thanks.
Hi, Marion.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Thanks, Jules. Thanks, Bethan. Yeah, well, I got into nature journaling about 3 years ago when lockdown started, so about the same time you did. And I'm not really nature journaling as such, but I do draw a lot of nature because it started with taking photographs every day of the things I noticed just around me, in the garden, on my walk, just in the neighborhood. There's so much to see. So yeah, connecting to nature is very important to me. So that's what I started with, and then I started drawing it first from photos, but more and more also from real life. So I go outside in the garden and I just pick something and I think, oh, that's nice, and I just start sketching it, and I really enjoy as I think Verena said as well, it makes you calm, it makes you slow down. It's like meditating almost. So the last month I've been drawing every day, and I made a little book. It's a folded book, and I filled it with a drawing mostly in my garden or a posy I made. Yeah, everything that I can see or find, and different techniques as well. Just enjoying what I see and what I come across. I found a beautiful feather the other day that I really liked to draw, and also like to make my own ink from things that I see. So from the poppies in the garden, poppy leaves, petals, you can make ink, and then you can color it like this. And so I use drawing and photographing to connect, and I do it in lots of different ways. So yeah, that's what I did. And this morning I went outside and took a photo of, you must have seen this as well sometimes. There's this is an acanthus flower, and there's a tiny little bee hiding inside it, and it's so cute. And there's another one where he's looking up, or she, I don't know. Hope you can see. And that's what you notice when you really start looking. And that made me think of what I think Bethan said, that when you go out with the grasses Angela was drawing, when you go out and you say grass and you don't see it anymore, but when you stop labeling what you see as if everything is new, as if you're on a different planet, then you start to notice things much more, and you see different shades and colors and shapes, and yeah. So stop labeling and start watching. I always say to people who are not accustomed to this. So I take students out sometimes as well. I teach environmental education, and then that's an eye-opener for them. So yeah, but you all know that. I don't have to tell you. So thanks.
That's amazing and such good advice, not labeling things. Like you said, we go along, we say tree, grass, bird, and when we label like that, we get rid of the details. I love that you said that. It's really, really powerful. And I want to interview you on the Journaling with Nature podcast one day, if you would be my guest.
Thanks. That would be great.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was really special.
Thanks.
Jules, did you have some other people who you wanted to
Yes,
put on the spot?
yes, please. I see that Todd is here, Todd Evans, and I would love it if Todd would share what she's been appreciating this week, because I know it'll be great.
Hello everybody.
Hi,
I agree with a lot of what Marion said about the noticing, and the more you journal or look and do images of nature, the more you notice. Most of mine tends to be plants in and around my garden, and I'm very lucky to have a little field. But I'm actually going to share with you this morning. The other day I was on the patio with my little grandson, he's 3.5, and we were just filling up with a jug of water a little bird bath, ceramic bird bath, on the floor, on the ground. It's got ivy leaves and things around it. We poured in the water and I was so surprised. Ants, little black garden ants, emerged from everywhere, and at first we thought they were falling in the water, but the more we looked, we realized that they were sort of creeping into the water. Some even launched themselves into the water, and I'd never seen this before. I always thought maybe ants would drown in water. But when we looked, and my little grandson was fascinated, you could see the legs going, and they were sort of navigating round. Some were just going round in circles, but some were making headway. It was all a bit random. And then when they came to the side, no problem, climbing back out again. And normally I draw things from life, so I didn't do anything straight away about this little episode, but it stayed with me. And you know, I was like, well, I'll find out a bit more about ants, and apparently they can go in water. I don't think they choose to, because they like dry climates. But before we started the Zoom, I did just have a little go. These are my ants swimming. I have got a little bit of colour on it somewhere, but these are my ants swimming around in the water quite happily. I have no idea why they did it. Maybe they thought there was a chance of some prey of some sort in the water. I really don't know. And I just wanted to say, I don't normally write a lot, but I did make some notes to remind myself. But my background is actually as an art tutor. I used to teach adult art classes, so I don't tend to write a lot. I mean, I'm full of admiration. Many of the journals people do here, but I did that case. I think it was to remind myself of an event that had happened. But even though I don't write a lot, it doesn't mean to say that I'm not still doing the sort of things that you do. I still will go and look up things and find out more information about, you know, sort of habitats and things. And when I look back at the work, it just reminds me of, you know, sort of the actual situation. So yeah, but anyway, I thought I'd share my ants with you.
That was super cool. I love that you are sharing that with your grandson, and that this whole story of the ants became the story that you shared together.
Yeah, he loved it. He was fascinated. Ants are right up little boy's street, I think. But yeah, and we try and do a lot of work together. I mean, he uses a lot of my art materials. I'm not precious about them, and I just hope I can inspire the next generation. I've got two other little girls, and another one on the way, so as they get older I hope they'll join me as well.
That's so special. Thank you so much for sharing that. I also love that you highlighted that we do this in our own ways. You know, we often teach you use words, pictures, and numbers, you do it like this. I think you can do it however you want to, and you've highlighted that beautifully. You've said my pictures are my, you know, comfortable place. That's where I learn about nature most, but I can use words when that's useful. And I love that you've highlighted that we do it however we do it, and it's the same thing. It's the same connection. Thank you so much for sharing that, Todd. That was wonderful. Jules, is there anyone else you want to spotlight?
That was great. I just love that. I've got to go out and research that now. Yeah, finally, I would like to ask if she's up for it, Sue Pownall, because she's somebody that definitely appreciates nature every day. And if she's ready, I'd love her to share what she's been appreciating. Are you still with us, Sue?
I am, but I'm horrified.
Why are you horrified?
No.
Because I've observed and appreciated, but I haven't done anything in my journal. It's on a list of things to do. What Jules is, I think, alluding to is I've got some blue tits that have they've nested in. I'm in a very old house, and they've nested at the top of a wall underneath the gutter. You can't see the nest, but you just hear this cheeping noise. And I actually put a iPad on to see, and the birds are flying back literally every minute. My bird feeder, they've decided that the fat balls are what they're feeding their babies, because they've not touched my fat balls for probably a couple of months now. And these fat balls, all of a sudden, woof, they're disappearing as quick as anything. And so on my must do today, because it's I appreciate them, is to draw and research the blue tits and try and capture. I think it was Dad yesterday. I was stood too close to the nest because he just sat in my honeysuckle telling me off. But I'm just, you know, it was a real telling off. You've got to move. So I want to draw or paint that, but I haven't done anything in my journal yet.
That's amazing. Can you tell us what a fat ball is? I don't know what that means, because I don't really feed birds here in Brisbane.
It's bird seed and literally vegetable fat, I think, and they're just compressed together, and you put them in the feeder. So it's a different way of giving food to the birds, I think. Jules nodding at me. I don't know. I just put it outside in the garden.
I love that you got a telling off by one of the birds. Thank you so much for telling us that story. That was really super cool. Jules, would you like to tell us what you've been watching lately?
Well, can I say no?
Of course you can say no.
Oh, so much. That's the trouble. This time of year is just like the best time in my garden, and I think I've done more pages in the last couple of weeks than I've done all the rest of the year. But one thing that I have really been appreciating is something very simple, and it happens this time every year. And that's the blooming of the wild daisies, not the little lawn daisies, but what we call the oxeye or moon or dog daisies, so the big tall ones. And the grass verges this time of year start to be completely covered with these beautiful flowers that just literally, there's no grass, because it's just daisies everywhere. And they're just such a simple flower. I think they're my favourite flower to draw. And I do actually, bear with me 1 second, I think, yes. I did not have I was doing the chat. I did actually put some in my journal. I just started a page there for those and the dog roses. Just really simple, but every time I go out, it's the fact I'm looking for them. Where are they? And they're there, and I get this rush every time I see them. It doesn't matter how many times during the year. And it's just one of those kind of things in nature that really kind of moves me, and I appreciate it so much because I just never fail to smile.
That's beautiful, Jules. I love looking at the pages of your journal. They're so lovely. That's the word that always comes into my mind because it's flowers and butterflies, and it's so such English loveliness. I don't know. Thank you so much for sharing. I wonder if there's anyone else who, I'm going to put on gallery view so I can see you. If there's anyone else we haven't specifically called on who would love to share, you can.
Sorry, Bethan. I think Dane in the chat said that he would like to share something with us.
Dane, yes. Dane, where are you? Oh, here you are. Hi. So Dane is in Brisbane. Hi.
Hello.
How are you? Thanks for joining us.
It's great. We don't have to leave our houses to see everybody and connect around the world with all the nature lovers. I thought, oh, what can I share? And then it's already dark here, and we've had a little bit of cold weather, and I thought, is wind something I can appreciate? It's a bit hard to draw wind, but you can write about wind. Yes, I'm in awe of the wind. And then I thought about the wind because I have very big trees in the front streets here, very big trees and very wide trees, and they are, parts of their limbs are falling off. And I just imagine if that was me standing out there and parts of my body were falling apart, would I be able to cope? But generally, many trees do cope. So I appreciate the trees for their strength and their durability, that they can cope with winds. And even if they are vulnerable to damage, they lose their limbs, their branches, and they even fall over. But hey, the wind isn't the bad guy necessarily. I'm in awe of the wind. Did you know, this is not from my own mind, I did a bit of research 1 hour before now. Did you know that wind increases the turbulence in the atmosphere and thus increasing the supply of carbon dioxide to the plants, which then results in the plants having greater photosynthesis rates? So windy days, if it's not too simple connection, much more carbon, much more photosynthesis and more air being produced for us. So it's, I think there's possibly a symbiotic relationship here going on with the wind and the trees. And of course, the wind is just so vital to the climate and the weather around the whole world. So I'm in awe of the wind, and I really appreciate the trees that they manage to have a symbiotic relationship with the wind.
That is amazing. I did not know that. And I have been thinking about wind as well, seeing as we're in the same city, we're experiencing this same crazy wind, and our front lawn is completely littered with debris from falling off the trees. So it's funny you should say that. And I feel kind of bad because I have been cursing the wind a little bit, because I've been trying to film the videos for International Nature Journaling Week, and the wind is so loud. But you've made me rethink my feelings about the wind, and I'm amazed about this thing about the photosynthesis increasing with the wind. And wind, wind gushing through the branches of trees and the leaves of trees is something that we all think about when we think about wind. And it's lovely to think that there's something extra going on that we hadn't thought about before. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was amazing. Is there anyone else who would love to share something they're appreciating? You can wave your hand around, or you can just use the reactions down the bottom of your thing. There's a raised hand function. You can use that. Yeah. Teresa, let me spotlight you. Hi.
Hello. I know Jules from Instagram. I'm Shropshire Sketcher on Instagram. I've just been to the seaside on the south coast of Wales in the UK. And while you've been talking, I've just been sketching some photographs I took of seaweed patterns, on the beach. So I haven't actually looked up the nature, what they're called, what types of seaweed they are, but I've enjoyed doing this page. Oops, just trying to get it central, sorry. Is that better? Oops. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It looks
right,
beautiful.
so thank you.
I love that you've been doing that along with while everybody's been talking. And
yeah, well, I've just come
appreciating
back from this holiday to visit family, and I took photos. I wasn't able to. I did some sketches on the beach, but I didn't do the seaweed. So I took photos of the way they were, the patterns of the seaweed in the shells, and also there was an art gallery in different shop windows in the town where my sister lives, and I saw some lovely paintings that someone had done of seaweed, so it inspired me to have a go.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was lovely. It's lovely that patterning on something can draw your attention, because when we start to look at these details, it can be incredibly captivating. And I love that you saw that in seaweed.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you so much for being here.
Thank you. Lovely to be there. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd love to share? Rosa? Yeah. Let me highlight you. Oh. Hey.
Hi everybody. So I like to celebrate the human factor on observing nature. I like storytelling, and I like character design also. Besides, in the same level as I love nature and nature conservation. And during COVID, we were pretty isolated, and we miss a lot our outside groups that we go watching nature and doing nature journaling. So this week I went for the first time with some friends, and it was, I want to celebrate how people observe and interact with nature. I can show you this is my son. He get out with us since he's little. He goes by his feet since 2 years old, and now he's 5. And this is a friend of ours, and they were sharing materials and opinions about what they observe, and they were very happy to find each other and sharing. And we collect things. I don't know if you can see them, but these were things that we collect. And
wow.
We have several seeds of some bugs, a volcanic rock, because it is a volcano, an extinct volcano. So what I want to share is the way people love each other when they are in nature, observing nature, not only loving nature, but loving people.
Yeah.
Do you know what
where are you?
Speak very well English.
No, absolutely. On the contrary, that was amazing. Oh, I'm wondering where you live, where in the world you are right now.
I'm in Portugal, in Torres Vedras. It's a place that has an extinct volcano, and we went there. It's like it's a place where you it's an abandoned place, and all community goes there to have a little touch of nature. So it's very mystic place, because it has a big houses, and it's all abandoned, but people go there with children, with dogs, with to share. And it's pretty to see people looking for nature. So that's what I'm celebrating today.
I love that you said that, and I love your page with your son and your friend, and how, I mean, for a start, you're capturing the memory of that experience so beautifully. You'll look back on those pages and treasure that memory, I'm sure. But I love that you're appreciating this feeling of being in nature together, because there's something very, very special about that exchange.
Yes, yes, and seeing how you influence others to join, and how your son, that is so tiny, already influenced other kids and manifests his nature appreciation. So it's how your love for drawing and observing nature influences others, and how that shows in your nature journals. Not only telling the story, how you communicate nature with others. So
that's super special. Thank you so much for highlighting that. That's really, really important and wonderful. Thank you, Rosa.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to say something about what they're appreciating? Yeah, Ronnie. Hi.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Ronnie. I'm from Israel. And thank you for this week, for this initiative, first off. So I'm a cancer patient, so I'm home a lot. And I live around nature, but I don't get to work in my garden. I don't get to go outside for hikes and all these things I love to do. So all I have is to look outside my window or just like sit outside. And because life is hectic right now, we've neglected our garden, and beautiful things are happening. These plants are growing, these flowers are growing between the rocks where we didn't plant them, or just like all these surprises that happens. This plant, the passion fruit plant that was tiny and small, it didn't grow for years. We've neglected it, and now it's blooming, and it's crazy, and it's beautiful. So I just draw. I have a journal, and I draw mainly in watercolors. And what I see, like just the wildflowers that are growing now in my garden. So this is, maybe I should unblur my background so you can see it. Wait, sorry. Okay. So I don't know how you call these flowers in English, but we have them as wildflowers in Israel right now, all over the place. They're really, really tall flowers in pink and white and purple. Just looking outside my window, and whatever I see, I draw very quick watercolor washes, like not very realistic, just like really whatever I see. I also live by the sea, so I can see the sea from my house. So that's also a source of inspiration for me, as a force of nature. Yeah, that's my, like, I'm trying to use different mediums. So this is watercolors, and this is collage of like different papers, and the blueberries from the packaging. Just stuff like that. So the rocks outside. Yeah, so that's for me.
That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Someone in the chat is saying that they're called hollyhocks in the UK.
Yeah, hollyhocks. Yeah, I knew that somehow, you know, in my brain. I didn't. Yeah.
I love that you have nature by you through this journey that you're going through, because this can be a really super difficult road and ups and downs, but nature can be something really solid to return to again and again. And I'm really glad that you have the sea and the garden, and that you say that all this stuff is happening because you're neglecting the garden, and that's really joyful in itself. I love that. It's really special.
Thank you.
I'm sending you so much healing love, and so many good thoughts for your recovery, and just keep going outdoors. It's so precious during this time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ronnie, for sharing. Everyone. I saw someone else ready to share.
Christiane, I think.
Yeah, hi, Christiane. So good to see you.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. And I'm very inspired, and I'm very happy to see you so inspired and energized, Bethan. And many thanks for this week again. I think I appreciate very much fading flowers and seeds and yes, things which perhaps in nature are not so beautiful on the first view, but then they evolve, they develop a very, I think, a special beauty. And I sketched, can you see it? Some flowers and leaves and seed spots, which I collected or which I had here in my house in some vases, and they dried for themselves, and I don't like to press them for drying, but they dry themselves, and then they get some interesting forms and muted colors which preserved it, which are preserved very easily. So this I think this is something that one can easily do all the time, and perhaps pay much more attention to something growing, but also fading and growing again. But this perhaps this is the cycle of life.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. That was really important to remember, because I think we have the tendency to, in our nature journals, draw a flower in full bloom because it's at its best in quotation marks. But I think acknowledging and appreciating the entire cycle and that fading is beautiful in itself. And I love that you reminded us to take notice of the entirety of the life cycle. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to see you, Christiane.
I'm really happy to see you. Big hugs, Bethan.
Big hugs to you. Is there anyone else who'd love to share before we say good night or good day, good afternoon? I love that we're in so many different places. Rena, you're nodding your head. I love seeing you all. So if there's nobody else who wants to share, I just want to oh, Josephine, are you waving something to share? No, well, I can't hear you. We need to unmute.
Yeah, I can. I'm in
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
England. I'm in England where the flowers are spilling over from the front gardens onto the pavements. And I happened to steal this Love in a Mist. That's what they're called. But then I went out onto my balcony this morning and found that I don't know if you can see, in a forgotten flower pot, I've got Love in a Mist growing in my own garden. So while you've been talking, I did a quick little drawing of my own Love in a Mist, which I'm now sending to Ronnie, who shared earlier, because the meaning of the flower is courage and heart strength, which I thought was appropriate. And I've learned my lesson to look in my own garden rather than stealing flowers hanging over onto the road. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that and for sending that Ronnie's way. That's very, very special. I love this group. I honestly feel like all warm in the heart area. Yeah, it's a very, very special community, and I can see Dane holding up the world. Thanks, Dane. So thank you for being here, for sharing all this beauty and all this appreciation for the simple things. I love that all our nearby nature is so different from each other, and that we get the chance to see each other's smiling faces, but also appreciate each other's nearby nature. And that's thanks to this amazing technology that has become part of our lives. And I'm very, very happy for that. So for some people, Michelle is still awake. In the USA, it's just gone for 1st of June there. For me, it's finishing. And for many of you, it's the middle of the day. But there's so much on the website for you to explore. I'm going to, there's a beautiful video of different people talking about their appreciation for nature. I've put the link in the chat so you can have a look at it if you haven't already seen it. Verena is a superstar of this video. And there's going to be a video like this each day to kick us off, to celebrate, and to start the inspiration flowing. But thank you so much. This has been just very, very beautiful and heartwarming. And I appreciate you all being here at different times of your day, different parts of your life, and all the sharing and all the love. So thank you so much, and enjoy this week. And tune in on the program page. You can see all the live events that are coming up. And happily, we have a bunch that are in this same time slot. So if it works for you, come along. We've got lots of things happening. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for being here and for sharing and for this magic. It really does feel like magic. So thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day, beautiful sleep, beautiful end to the day, whatever it is for you. Bye now.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.